And I just think that the mayor's not here to defend himself, and I'm not here to defend the mayor. Okay, the mayor's the mayor, and I'm a councilman. And you're a councilman, and you're not his attorney.
If you suggest, if you want, now you're just trying to turn this into something. If you want to say something that's constructive,
I was saying something. I was saying something. I think that this is something that is a problem, and we've been trying to address the sidewalk problem since the beginning of the council. Okay? And Mr. Kimmel did some great research, and again, right, we're trying to figure out the way in which, hold on a second, sir. We get into these urban versus suburban debates where he's saying that the reason why we didn't pay this is because we're now going into an urban zone. Okay? And from looking at the street, I couldn't tell if the whole neighborhood of Dry Hill that, sorry, sir, you bought your house in what's considered an urban, so therefore you're responsible for, you're responsible for replacing your sidewalk with concrete, and you have to pay for it, sir. But your neighbor right across the street, oh, he's in a, I don't know what you call it, suburban or rural, but the city gets to pave his street like gold, and by the way, we pay for that. Okay, but you, sir, you live in an urban zone, and you have to use concrete, and you have to pay for it. And that gets back to why we are here on Public Works. Okay, because for me, we spin our wheels on how we deal with sidewalks. And again, Hal said that there were 300 and how many miles of sidewalk?
140 miles.
You said 140 miles of sidewalk?
That's what I've always said.
Okay, 140 miles. Okay, 140 miles. We determined that is equivalent to here to Philadelphia.
I didn't determine that.
Okay, well, okay. Bruce will make you agree. And you know what? I think that Bruce did some great research. And Bruce, I think what we had to do is, you were right on. I think what we need to do is, we really need, by the end of this council, is to tackle how the city is going to move forward with sidewalks.
Got the answer. At last year's, if we replace all 140 miles of sidewalk in the city of Norwalk, at last year's curb and sidewalk prices, $91 million. That's the answer. Money.
A lot of this sidewalk is in my district.
Well, I bet Jerry's probably concerned about stuff in District D, and Bruce is probably concerned about stuff in District D, and John in E. I don't price out sidewalks just in District A.
So I'll tell you what.
Can I just ask this question? What if you do a sidewalk right? What's its lifespan? Generally,
it depends on whether it's concrete or whether it's. If it's concrete, it should last decades. Because the plows don't tear up the concrete.
So look, I'm not going to sit here and do some simple multiplication, but if we have a plan that would be $91 million.
No, because you got to do an assessment of what really needs to be replaced. You know.
At least. We find ourselves in silly situations.
Yeah.
Okay, so we stop because there's an arbitrary thing with the zone, and we don't have money. So we make a decision that's going to affect somebody in what they perceive to be an irrational way. The fact that this urban zone, what he calls zone, no one on Dry Hill knows anything about that. I'm still wondering if they have the lines in yet, especially when you come out on Westport Avenue, because that's a little bit dangerous.
What lines?
I agree.
When you come,
after they repave the lines.
After they repave?
They're there.
They're there now?
They're there.
Okay, good. But anyway, we get into these, it seems a little bit silly. Well, that's an urban zone, so we stop. We really stop because we don't have the funds to do what would be the logical thing. My point is, $91 million, considering that they last for decades.
Concrete.
Yeah. So $91 million with a plan. You start to implement it, something similar to what we do with
the roads. Sure.
Road repairs. We get it done, and in 30 years, the city has good sidewalks everywhere. That's the thing. But we don't. We need the assessment. We need the budgeting. We need the council behind it.
And staff.
And without it, we find ourselves in David's right. Urban zone. What's the difference? A guy looks out his window. He goes, "No, from an urban zone." He says, "My sidewalk wasn't done." It doesn't make sense to him.
It doesn't make sense to him, and it's explained to him But,
It
you
still
know,
doesn't make sense.
well, no, and it may not, but at a certain point, if you only have $350,000,
That's
you know,
the
no one's
problem.
put a sidewalk in front of my house the last time I've checked that.
Here's the way we do roads, and I would submit to you, this is the same way we need to address sidewalks. We have an annual pavement consulting consultant that works with us. You just approved BHB, who will start in July 1, and it's our
Right.
consultant. They go out and they assess, and then they do a basic assessment that starts the process, and then every year, like on our roads, we do 1/4 of the street segments, we update the pavement condition index on them. We need a similar kind of thing. Then you have to decide how much you want to replace each year, and where it's going to replace it. You request that in the capital budget. It's going to be a heck of a lot more than $350,000. The $350 only allows us to deal with emergencies and the curb and stuff we need to do on the roadway to make sure the drainage
I agree.
works. You set up great.
But you
The
can
land use
answer, when
classification.
someone calls
you know,
us about a street, we can find out 2 years from now, next year, next spring. Set this up, okay, I'll live with it for years, we want to do it.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like that.
That's correct. You're absolutely right.
And that's not fair, that's just not fair. I mean, streets, it's dangerous, people ride bikes and they run and they drive cars, but people walk on sidewalks. So, you don't have the same danger issue, but it's a city that has sidewalks like cities everywhere. And we're done with this budget cycle, the money's not there, but somehow we have to figure out a way to get this money in the capital budget.
And the staff. You
Well-
need people to manage the project.
After what I learned about what happened, maybe not, is my answer to that, Howard. Yeah, I just learned last night that let me put it this way, it's hard to say, the preschool costs of Norwalk Councilman, when everything boils down to, will be $11,000 per student. It was 13, that's not high, when you get, it's 12 months a year, it's 12 months a year,
okay.
12 months a
Fair
year,
enough.
all day long, 12 months a year. It was 13,000 under the past administration. Multiply it out by 466 in 1 year, okay?
A lot of sidewalks.
That's right. So maybe not. We have a new organization report here. Let's get the money and then we'll figure out how to do it. It will get done.
I don't disagree with you. It's a money issue, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even the staffing is a money issue, you know? So I've requested money in the past, I've requested staff in the past, never gets approved. The guy you got to get past is the finance director. Nobody even knows what I requested in my operating budget this year, or nobody even knows what I requested in my capital budget. Everybody knows what the finance director's recommendation was. The minute he makes his recommendation, that becomes the budget. Nobody even goes back and looks at the department's request. So, and you never get, you know, what you ask for.
Okay,
So the guy that's got to be slung is...
So sidewalks, here's the deal. I'll say it right now. Next year, in the capital budget, what I will try to do, and I hope others will try to do, is make it clear early on that we'll try to try to find the money, and then we'll decide, we'll figure out what it is. We will decide, we will find the money necessary to begin this program, so that within a few years, our sidewalk repair program is similar to our street repair program. We can work with you, but it will have to be, so in a sense, the council is the one body, unlike with the operating budget. The council,
You own the capital
we own
budget,
it.
absolutely.
And we can work to guarantee. I'm not sure everyone will agree. There'll be a lot of conflicting pressures. But you got to admit, sometimes these arguments, we do feel like we're spinning our wheels. Sidewalks, so that whether it's $3 million for the following year, $2 million, $5 million, we'll just move the money and try to vote it in. So if you got to take from Peter to pay for Paul, so be it. Or Tom will have to figure out a way to do it.
Right.
One way or the
And
other.
that's an appropriate level of effort in us making those tough decisions, because if we move however many dollars in a capital budget into a sidewalk account, we'll be taking them out of somewhere else based on the cap set by the BET. That'll be the tough decision we have to make. At this point, and I want to go back because I want to be very clear, given that in this budget year there's $350,000, you know, and this is purely my opinion talking at this moment in time, If we have $350,000, and as Hal just indicated, the curb is to a standard, and the only thing that's wrong with this particular sidewalk, and I don't know this gentleman, and I have friends that live on Dry Hill, but that's about it. You know, and they've made that decision. You know, yelling at Hal is not going to fix that sidewalk. If we've got an issue, you know, I'm happy to work and to, you know, make those decisions. He's had to make these hard decisions, again, with his staff, in this budget year.
If I may
Sure.
respond,
Yeah.
there's a certain degree of frustration because we get calls on sidewalks. We get calls on road repair. They generally get fixed. Sometimes with the sidewalks, you don't know where to turn, especially after the plow.
Actually, I have a picture of it.
Did you know he feels that the kids that walk, oh, you saw it?
Yep,
That first
yep.
I don't know if there's-
Yeah, I mean, you gotta admit, there's a certain silliness. We backed ourselves into a corner over the years.
With Andrew's kids walk,
Yeah. So,
with kids walking up and down the street for months.
that, I mean,
It
you know.
just makes sense to at least make it a priority.
Yeah, right. How long a stretch is it? What happens after?
It's just, well, actually, it goes past his property to the next property in the
Right in front of his, that's in front of his house. They
Yeah.
like put that right in front of his house, like
Starts
right
right-
here.
the
where
corner
there's-
of Merrill is right here,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. This is a repair right on the corner.
Right.
From this catch basin down that way is in
I'll
front of
show-
Mr.
I'll show you.
Tilly's
So
house.
there's a curve there, and then,
Yeah.
but I mean, and so we're saying that's a, he's just ticked off because it got replaced up there and then they stopped.
Yeah, let me show you.
Because I'm thinking that's a pretty good sidewalk, not to
But still,
belabor this
yeah,
conversation.
that's-
Sure.
Yeah. So as you can see, right,
But I mean, there's gotta be a line somewhere.
this right here, and you
Not
tell me,
necessarily. You do like
what I'm
road
saying
repair.
is, if you're telling me,
You don't fix it.
right,
You
this
don't
is,
drive it.
what I'm saying is, what Hal said, right, in this photo, sorry I couldn't put it on the iPad, everybody, but, we.
It's a little slow.
I'm a little slow on the uptake, but as you can see, this is the gentleman's home. Hal's saying that they stopped right here. Is this where you
No,
consider?
that's a spot repair right there, David. That's, if you back up, you're gonna be in the middle of Merrill Street.
Okay, so
So
he
there's
can
a spot
see
repair
that
right on his corner,
right here.
and then
you
you
can
cross
see,
Merrill and go north, and you
That-
got the asphalt sidewalk.
see, because they did a great job with road paving, right?
Yep.
Street looks very nice,
Makes sense.
And it was
right?
a mess.
Street,
Yeah.
I mean, the street looks great. The only thing is, man, when you get to the sidewalk, it's like, you know, it's not fair, man. It's not right. It's not right. So I think that.
Alright. I'm sorry.
I got
Mr.
you.
Watts.
I got you. No, I'm just saying, I didn't know what that was.
Do you want to repeat that for the record?
No, I didn't know what that was. You did that. I was just saying, I didn't know what that was.
So that's your definition of civility, that you're going to suddenly make fun of me from over there? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
come on, man. We're not making fun of you, man. Come on, we're not. We're laughing at each other. We're having a good
No,
time.
I'm not laughing if you didn't know.
Okay, all right.
Solid waste report.